once a week, search for and destroy the breeding sites of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Keep watching to find out exactly where you should be searching for these disease-carrying pests. I'm Theodore Henry. That and much more is on the way in today's magazine. Let's get right to it. If you're a farmer, especially one operating in Manchester or St. Elizabeth, then you've likely had to battle with the destructive beet armyworm. We're in the field next, examining what's being done to eradicate the most recent infestation.
In late March 2017, the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA's monitoring program, unearthed increased beet armyworm activity in the fields of Manchester. The voracious pest has now spread to farms in St. Elizabeth, and RADA and other agencies of the Ministry of Agriculture are responding.
Based on our estimation, approximately 297 farmers had been affected directly. Among those are farmers who completely lost their crop and it will require replanting. And there are other farmers who feel still in production, but they are battling the pressure of the pest and trying to protect their crop.
The beet armyworm has a short life cycle, but each female lays numerous eggs in its lifetime, giving many generations per year.
We're talking about anywhere between 18 to 23 days from egg right through to the adult stage.
The larvae of the beet armyworm feed on the foliage and fruits of plants and can render the produce unmarketable.
They bore a hole and they go inside. Once they're inside, the feeding continues, and that is the stage that does the devastation.
A major challenge for Jamaican farmers is that the pest develops quickly under local conditions. Hot temperatures, the availability of lush crops all year round, and the absence of consistent field management by too many farmers who miss the early susceptible stages of the pest when the eggs are exposed.
So just imagine the entire, say 150 eggs is in that one sack. And the farmer misses the early susceptible stages. What you're having is a multiplier effect inside.
In response to the outbreak, Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Agriculture and Fisheries and RADA develop strategies, including budgetary support to deal with outbreak as an immediate response.
Text messages were sent, I know. RADA officers were on the ground.
So we've been holding a series of farmer sensitization sessions and smaller farmer training in clusters, smaller clusters, so that we can get more hands-on and more field experience. In addition to that, RADA has also reassigned some of their officers to increase the human resource that is in the area.
The Agriculture Ministry is also receiving help from the Food and Agriculture Organization to develop a forecasting system to identify the presence of the pest in the field.
It includes in it the temperature that is being collected by the Met Office on the ground. This is very useful in being able to implement what we call precise management. So if we can time before it happens, what stage is going to be in the field, which gives us a little heads up as to how to prepare the farmers a little better.
You must increase your scouting activities to at least 2 to 3 times for the week.
Looking specifically for any signs of the beet armyworm. The most effective stage to apply chemical spraying is at the just hatch period, when the worms are very young and on the outside of the leaves.
You also have to maintain the fact that chemical rotation is important. You don't want to get the population used to a particular chemical.
The other thing is to practice good field sanitation. Farmers need to keep their field clean, free of weeds, rubbish, anything that the insect can hide under, so that when they go out to do their chemical application, it can be more effective. And we have a very simple and cheap method of setting up the trap by using a plastic gallon bottle, which we go out and guide the farmers how to do it.
Leaving your mature product in the field is only going to create more food, leave more food for the pest, and hence more devastation.
Due diligence must be done by the farmers to examine their produce for any evidence of the pest after you have harvested. And so as much of it can be removed as possible and remain where it is, and then properly dispose of there, rather than to move it into another area where it can contaminate another area.
The trash has to be either buried, or your bag allow it to bake in the sun for at least 3 days, full sunlight, so that the heat can build up and destroy those stages within that.
Farmers are also encouraged to do hand picking of egg sacs and till the soil often.
So when the soil is tilled, it will expose them to birds, natural predators that can eat them. We also encourage farmers to get in touch with your local RADA representative. There's a RADA office in every parish, but there are also local extension officers that have offices in the different areas.
Nobody want to plant the corn. Everybody want to read the band. Who you are go blame it on when it's a next man? You are the pen pan. Well, you're wrong.
Farmers, let us be serious about predial larceny. It is affecting all of us. If you are aware of incidents of predial larceny, make contact with your local police station or call Crime Stop at 311. Predial larceny is everybody's business.
There is another threat, a constant one, to the livelihood of Jamaican farmers. If you think the PSA we just showed you was a clue, well, let's see.
On the ground, in the field, meeting with farmers and stakeholders, government's Predial Larceny Prevention Unit has been working aggressively to put a dent in the theft of farm animals and produce. This intense campaign by the Ministry of Agriculture, aided by the police, has led to a 14% reduction of farm thefts.
We're going around this island and letting people know that work is being done, and we're working for the farmers to ensure that you feel safe, you are protected, and that you are reassured.
I think the SP Francis and his crew have done a fairly good job.
With that commendation, the work continues. On one of the farm visits, DSP Francis indicated that among the strategies being looked at was the publishing of repeat offenders' names. The meeting was also used to inform farmers about some of the things they could do to mitigate thefts.
We have the very common, the dog. Get a dog put on the farm. You also can put up camera systems to ensure that you have a good view of what is happening around your area and around the farm. If you have farm animals, we have seen persons use the bell system. You put a bell around the neck of the animal, so if they are moved or if there's any slight movement, it triggers a sound system that will alert you as the farmer. We have seen the more sophisticated method of the tagging of the animals, the tattooing of animals. These are all methods that are used.
Farmers are also coming up with their own solutions, such as implementing the farm watch system.
Presence of persons doing surveillance on the farm, I think that helps to cut back on the predial larceny, because Persons wouldn't take the chance coming in knowing that there are persons watching the farm.
And as farmers, you can look out for each other as well. That's the best way to go about protecting yourselves against each other and against predial thieves.
So if we come together and try to stamp out predial larceny, I think it is for the betterment of all of us in the industry.
The police officers used the opportunity to appeal to farmers who use different sets of workers for reaping and related activities to create a database to safeguard their businesses.
You also need to ensure that you get the relevant names, next of kin. You also need to ensure you have background checks where necessary on the employees that are employed to your operations. By doing so, you will create a system where persons may feel a sense of being caught if they take the chance to steal your produce.
And to protect consumers, he urged for warning signs to be up when produce has been sprayed. Members of the Predial Larceny Prevention Unit visited over 100 farms and held more than 70 community meetings in 2015. These are aimed at getting farmers to work more closely with each other and the police to build a stronger resistance against thieves. It is at these meetings that the concerns of farmers are addressed.
How can you protect us going the right way, producing our produce, that the end customer knows that it's coming not from a stolen area or that it's not affected by chemicals or anything.
We're speaking about traceability. How can you know where your produce is coming from? The system that the government have in place currently have to do with the receipt system. The Jamaica Agricultural Society have a receipt system that accounts for the produce that you buy and the person who has it in their possession, where they get it from. We're trying to establish this kind of system across the country.
The farmers were also assured that while 2 persons were charged with coordinating the unit's activities from a national level, resources were drawn from all police divisions.
In each parish, the operation officer is responsible for predial larceny and responsible for treating with those reports. We want to reassure you that the Jamaica Constabulary Force Predial Larceny Prevention Unit is here to provide you with the relevant support to take action where necessary for you to carry on with your business of farming and feeding the nation. We want you to continue to reap what you grow.
It is this level of commitment by the government plus the support of farmers which will allow us to see more reductions in predial larceny, achieving a targeted priority of safety and security for both farmers and consumers.
You can make your water safe by treating it with household bleach or by boiling. If you choose to use bleach, you should pour a capful and slowly drop the bleach from the cap. For 1 liter or 1 quart of water, add 2 drops of bleach. Add 8 drops of bleach to 5 liters or 1 gallon of water. For 20 liters or 5 gallons of water, add half a teaspoon of bleach. Containers like 170-liter drums or 45 gallons of water, add 4½ teaspoons of bleach. If you choose the boiling method, allow water to boil for at least 5 minutes before removing it from the fire. Cover and leave to cool.
The recent weeks of rainfall has led to an increase in the mosquito population in many areas. We all know the dangers: chickweed, dengue, and more. One way to protect ourselves? Search out those common yet less known breeding sites in our homes, churches, and business places and eradicate the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
We're looking for any container or anything which can hold water. It doesn't need a lot of water for that mosquito to deposit its eggs. Very shallow quantity of water they can deposit in it.
The rain has fallen and this has collected water. And if it is allowed to sit in the environment for a couple of days, the Aedes aegypti will breed on it. This is a plastic over a pail and the water is on the plastic. This is a beautiful breeding site for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. We have a similar one right here. There's water on the top of this container and the Aedes aegypti mosquito will breed in it. Once the water begins to evaporate and she has a space to lay her eggs, she will lay her eggs and this will then become a breeding site. Turn it over. We do appreciate that roof gutters are very necessary in some areas that do not have pipe water, so it helps to collect the rainwater when it comes. However, if these roof drains become blocked by trash or other things, then it makes the water stagnant and it becomes a major breeding site for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So it's important if you have these roof gutters that you keep them clear, that the water is able to run. Even among your plants, we have plants that are, because of how the leaves overlap each other, they are able to collect water. And Aedes aegypti loves to breed in those environments. We suggest that persons do. If you think you love these plants and you want them, put them in pots. So when they do collect water, you're able to pick up the pots, drain them out and put them down. Because as it is right now, it's very difficult for us to get rid of the water and they will just continue to be in the environment as breeding sites.
This is a tire which has been discarded, but it's just in the backyard. And what we have now is apparently rainwater has now settled inside there and we have it breeding. The Aedes are back to the breeding inside here. It can be used as an enclosure for your plants, like a potted plant situation. So what we'll show you now is how we can have it filled with dirt that will ensure that when rain does fall, mosquito will not breed in it.
There's also a method of stacking the tires so that they will not collect water. We advise the tire shop owners to, for each tire that they get, to punch a hole in each of the tires. Once that is done, they can stock them in this plaiting form. So they have one row going in a particular direction and then another set going in the opposite direction, and they will continue with this. What this does, it allows the water to be directed towards where the hole is bored. So even if the rain comes and water goes in, the water will not settle but go out. We know that most churches have what is called a baptismal pool. And we have found baptismal pools to be a major breeding site for the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So what is it that churches should do? We recommend that all baptismal pools be covered properly so that the mosquito will not have access to it for breeding. Sometimes the pools are shaped very funny, and so it's very difficult to cover. In those instances, we ask persons to empty the pool at least once per week. And after emptying the pool, we ask that you scrub the sides to ensure that you have dislodged all the eggs. So we saw many sites that were breeding the Aedes aegypti mosquito today. And we saw that these sites were found in and around our homes, business places. And if we do not deal with these breeding sites, they are going to continue to be there, posing a risk for the transmission of diseases because they are breeding the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So you must take action to rid your environment of those sites. So what is it that we're asking you to do? We want you to make this a habit. Once a week, search for and destroy the breeding sites of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Give yourself a fighting chance. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
As we do every week, it's time to revisit the top news stories of the week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Thousands of Jamaicans came out on Tuesday to restore, preserve and beautify the country. Labor Day activities included restoration work on police stations, public parks, community centers and schools. The Prime Minister led volunteers at the two national projects, the Central Police Station and Ward Theatre.
I would love to see the day when I send my children here to come and watch the pantomime again. I would love to see the day when we are having world-class performances in the arts here. And everyone can come, whether you're from Dunkirk, whether you're from Tivoli, from Southside, from Olympic Gardens, from wherever, that you can come and experience the upliftment of culture here.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that a policy framework redefining the Jamaica Constabulary Force as a protection and service organization should be in place by November 2017.
That will become the launching pad for a discussion about what should our new Jamaica Protection and Service Institution be. What should our new law enforcement institution be?
In an earlier official visit to the Dominican Republic by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Jamaica and its regional neighbors signed a visa waiver pact, which will facilitate easier travel for diplomatic and official passport holders. The Prime Minister and President Danilo Medina also signed a communique which covers travel, tourism, commerce, education and agriculture. Jamaica's Public-Private Partnership PPP program now ranks 4th in Latin America and the Caribbean, moving up from 8th in 2014. That's according to the 2017 Infrascope, a survey that ranks 19 countries based on their capacity to mobilize private investment in infrastructure through public-private partnerships. Minister without portfolio in the Agriculture Ministry, J.C. Hutchinson, says farmers affected by the recent heavy rains should start receiving assistance next week.
We got $18 million and we are going to see if we can roll that out.
Minister Hutchinson says there are also plans to put some of the most affected farmers on idle government lands. The Scientific Research Council and the Jamaica Business Development Corporation have signed a memorandum of understanding to share their expertise with micro, small and medium-sized enterprises.
It's not just having an SRC product, but utilizing what resources exist locally to increase their possibility of being a success. And that is one of the things that this MOU will really cover, how we exchange expertise, or share expertise from one institution to the other in the interest of our clients primarily, so they can be more successful.
Minister of Science, Energy and Technology Dr. Andrew Wheatley says the community development component of government's street lighting, installation, loss reduction and community renewal SILK program is to be rolled out in short order.
And that community program seeks, through the partnership with a number of other government agencies such as the Art NTA, to ensure that we empower people by teaching them life skills so that they can make their own living.
And finally, in excess of 3,000 to 4,000 high school students will receive training this summer to access entry-level positions in the business process outsourcing BPO sector.
Of the trainers is going on as we speak, but this will be during the summer, and high schools through the high school system managed by the Ministry of Education will ensure that youngsters have an opportunity and know that this is a real live opportunity for this summer. The program will run for about 6 weeks in each case, and the students will be prepared then for entry-level BPO opportunities.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
I say be careful what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you're saying to my sister. She could be the next Prime Minister.
Children in Jamaica constitute anyone who is under the age of 18 years. And so once you have a child who is under your care and supervision, we encourage you at the Office of the Children's Advocate to always know where your children are. It doesn't mean that you have to be there with them, but you certainly know who they're with, where they're going, and the purpose for being there. This is a key component in helping to establish some rules in terms of some ground rules and helping to guide your children towards responsible and sensible choices, and also assisting you if something were to go wrong to know what is the first point of contact to assist your child. While you're not to look at everybody as a potential suspect, that you need to be very wary of adults, whether they're in positions of authority or not, that seek to want to have a very close relationship with your child. Somebody who wants to invite your child on an outing and it's just that adult and your child alone. Somebody who wants to take your child to a very special event to reward the child, perhaps for some performance that the child would have done in an extracurricular activity or for academic excellence. We encourage you to look at these situations very carefully and to determine whether or not it's an appropriate meeting or outing that this person is propositioning for your child. If you're enrolling your child in a daycare, ensure that you know something about the track record of that daycare. Ensure that the daycare has what we call an open door policy, which allows you to go in, see what's happening, observe how the workers there interact with the children, and know some of the ground rules that guide these interactions. If they're going on outings, whether it be school trips or otherwise, ensure that at some point, even if you can't go to all, you do attend some of them, so you get yourself integrated into the system and the culture of the school. For these tips, and of course any other information that deals with children, that is anyone under 18 years, please feel free to contact the Office of the Children's Advocate. We're at 72 Harbour Street, downtown Kingston, and our numbers are 948-1134, or website www.oca.gov.jm.
Watch what you teach your little children. Make sure I know something to hurt them. Mind what you're saying to my sister, cause she could be the next Prime Minister.
That's all the time we have for this Saturday. It's been a pleasure. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging show. In the meantime, take a virtual journey through our website and YouTube channel. The links are on screen. So too are our social media handles. Jot them down and drop us a line. I'm Theodore Henry. Please enjoy the rest of your weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.